Now, as if Rafael Cruz hasn't said enough crazy bullshit, right? Well, he has. He's said a lot of crazy stuff, and I know because I've covered it. But once again, he is caught on camera saying even more crazy shit. Now, this time it was an appearance before a pro-gun group called OK2A. Now, Rafael Cruz told this group that he thinks that atheism actually leads to sexual abuse of children and perversion. Now, I'm not lying. I'm not kidding here. He said, quote, "Let's look, for example, at the behavioral consequences of these two foundations." And by those foundations, he means atheism and secular humanism. Now, he says, quote, "Well, if there's no God, then we are ruled by our instincts. There is no moral absolute, which means we operate by situational ethics, which unfortunately is something being taught in every high school in America." Now, what's situational ethics? Well, according to Rafael Cruz, is that right and wrong depends on the situation. In other words, it's moral relativism. Okay, moral relativism. Great. Quote, "Because atheists believe in doing whatever they want, and if there are no moral absolutes, then there will be nothing but moral anarchy." Just try to think about that for a minute. Moral anarchy. That's funny because a lot of atheist groups, now if you can remember Hurricane Sandy, there are actually a lot of atheist groups that went and helped the people that were suffering from Hurricane Sandy, that had lost their homes. And they didn't go there to proselytize. Many of them went unnamed. Their group went unnamed. But that doesn't seem like it's moral anarchy. And there are other atheist groups that get together and volunteer at Christian-run charities, or they start their own. That doesn't seem like moral anarchy to me. But seriously, he could not be more wrong. And why do I say that? Well, it's because obviously people have an intrinsic sense of right and wrong. I mean, evolutionary biology even states that humans are pretty much hardwired to be social creatures. And that back in the ancient past, when we lived in little hunter-gatherer groups, shitty behavior would get you thrown out of the group. And then you'd probably be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger or something. Look, humans are hardwired to get along, to work with each other. And you can't work with other people if you're a dick. And back in those days, we didn't have organized religion. We didn't have the Jesus. We didn't have any sort of organized religion. So where did our morals come from back then? We've had thousands of years of successful civilization and people getting along without having to have Christianity or the Bible. I'm not sure if Rafael Cruz is actually aware of that. And like I said, the fact that we're biologically hardwired to seek out other people and work together towards mutual survival is one of the reasons why normal people don't normally go around stabbing each other in the face. I'm just saying. And another thing, human beings have this thing called empathy, where they actually feel for other people. That seems pretty moral to me. When you feel, say, somebody close by is hurt, you feel bad for them. That seems pretty moral. And maybe you try to do something nice for them to cheer them up. That seems rather moral to me. It's empathy. Humans aren't the only ones that have been shown to have empathy. Studies on animals show that they too may have empathy. So you don't need a God, and you might not even need to be human to feel empathy, to be moral. So, Pastor Cruz, you are absolutely wrong. Now, the people who do horrible shit to each other, they obviously don't have empathy. Kind of like somebody named Ted Cruz, who didn't give a single fuck about the people he hurt during his little government shutdown stunt. He didn't care. You know, those federal workers that weren't getting paid, that might not have made the rent, that might not have been able to feed their families? Or how about the people on WIC? The children that were that couldn't get WIC during the government shutdown. Did he give a fuck about those people? Did he empathize with those? The big Christian Ted Cruz? What about Rafael Cruz? Did he care? Did he show empathy? Did he show morality? Absolutely not. It's kind of shit. I mean, these people are the least moral people in the world. And they're saying atheists are not moral people because they don't believe in your God? That's bullshit. Now back to Rafael Cruz. Now, like I said, he was talking about moral absolutes. And he asked the crowd if they knew any politicians that were doing what he had described earlier. Well, good old Larry Pratt of the Organization of Gun Owners of America had to immediately shout out Hitler. If I had a nickel for every time a right-winger shouted Hitler at some sort of meeting, I wouldn't have to do the show anymore. I'd be a millionaire. I'd be in a beach somewhere. All right? This is one of the biggest lies about Hitler, is that he was an atheist. No, he wasn't. In his very own book, Mein Kampf, Mr. Hitler had wrote, quote, "I believe that I am acting in accordance with the will of the Almighty Creator. By defending myself against the Jew, I am fighting for the work of the Lord." Does that sound atheist to you? No, it sounds like he believed in something. Definitely not an atheist, and definitely not a moral person. Now, I'm not to say that Christians are anything like Hitler. Not at all. Not even, look, that's not even a comparison. All I'm trying to say is that Hitler wasn't an atheist either. He was a sociopath. Sociopath doesn't really choose religions. Now, some sociopaths can twist religion in order to get the masses on their side. And it's a really effective tool of getting people together. Anyway, in response to in response to Larry Pratt, Pastor Cruz had said, "Oh, we don't have to go that far, Larry. Just go to Washington. Just go to the White House." So there's that Obama Nazi Hitler comparison again that right-wingers love to throw out. Now, I think once you start using Hitler as a comparison tool, you have lost the argument. You've lost. You've jumped the shark, so to speak. So now he wraps up his speech by saying, "Of course, this leads us, when there are no moral absolutes, leads us to sexual immorality." Oh, okay. So now they're going to your bedroom. Leads us to sexual abuse, leads us to perversion, and, of course, no hope. No hope. What a bunch of shit. Now, I love how he ties lack of religion to sexual abuse. Has he ever heard of the Catholic Church? I seem to remember them having a couple of scandals a while ago involving sexual abuse. How does he explain sexual abuse within any religion? Because there's been a lot of that going around. There's always been that going around. How does he explain that? If religion teaches a infallible moral center to people, how do you explain that stuff happening in the church? Look, it's not the lack of religion that's the problem. At least in my opinion. It's a power dynamic, really. Religious leaders have a power dynamic over people. Religious doctrine teaches you not to question your leader, not to question the representative of God. Atheists have no such power dynamic. But look, I don't even think that there's, I certainly don't believe that there's such a thing as, religious-based morality. It doesn't exist. You do not get your morality from religion. You don't have to get your morality from religion. You know the golden rule, right? Did you know that every culture in ancient history has had some sort of form of the golden rule? A lot of them predate Christianity. Now, in some form or another, this golden rule, treat others the way you would like to be treated, shows up in some form or another in ancient Babylon, Egypt, India, Greece, Judea, and China. So this has been around for a while, for a long time. And it's essentially saying, look, don't be an asshole. Don't be a dick to other people. Treat other people well. Be a good person. And you don't need a religion to do that. Pastor Cruz is not a moral person. He does not seem like a moral person. He seems like the opposite of a moral person. He's out to hurt more people than he wants to help. And you want to talk about child abuse? I think child abuse is what he did to poor Ted. Telling him all the years that he was growing up that, oh, Ted, you're the anointed one. You're going to be a king among men. You're going to help lead America to Christianity. Filling your son's head with those kinds of delusions, maybe that should be considered child abuse. I'm just saying. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you want to see more, go to our channel at youtube.com/TYTNation. And if you really want to support the show, support this channel, go to our fundraising campaign at www.patreon.com/TYTNation. The website is in the description below. Thank you guys, and keep watching.